So yeah, hello everybody. Here's Martin together with Dan from Product Fruits.
Hey.
And before we start, as always, we will have a couple more minutes, 3 minutes approximately. Then we'll just jump in to wait for others to join. So don't forget to say hi to everybody in the chat in the Teams right there. And after the 3 minutes, we'll just start with this webinar. So yeah, say hi to Adam, Amy, and all our product support team right in the chat. And yeah, we are glad to have you here. So let's wait those 3 minutes.
Yeah, so I guess I might as well introduce myself. I'm Daniel. I run marketing here at Product Fruits. And I'm here to support Martin during the session because it's a big session for us. And my job is relatively simple. I will be watching the chat and I'll be trying to surface the most interesting questions so we can answer them in real time. And having said that, I would just like to encourage everyone to use the chat because, I mean, the more you ask, the more you get out of it, the more useful it will be for you. So don't be shy, be selfish.
Yeah, that's true.
I can still see we have people joining us, so let's give everyone a few more minutes to settle in. And while we wait, here is a fun fact. So we're gonna be talking about flows today.
Yes, that's right.
Canvas, branching logic, AI nodes, and all that jazz. But does anyone have any idea where the concept of flows as such actually comes from?
No, I have no idea. Never thought about it actually until that.
I didn't know either, but I was briefed for this session, so I know
cheating
and
there, yeah.
I can play smart. So actually, the image behind me. So this is the very first computer flow ever drawn. And it comes from the 50s of the last century, I have to say. And the gentleman who devised this, they were doing it because they were hoping to help operators who are dealing with complex coding problems. And here we are today. We're launching flows for Product Fruits. And the logic behind it is actually very similar.
Yeah, that's true.
We are hoping that we will help our customers to deal with complex onboarding problems.
That's true. Looking at the diagram, I have to say it looks too complex. I believe that the flows will be simpler for everybody to grasp, but I understand that the visual story behind it. So yeah, the concept is quite same. But yeah, it's not from 50s, our product. We're just launching it today. So, but it's interesting. Never thought about it. It looks very mathematical right there. No, I promise the flows will be simpler a little bit.
So I guess let's get started. Before we kick in, a few housekeeping rules. Everyone is muted by default. Again, please, if you have questions, use the chat. We love questions. It's what's making this webinar interactive and useful for everyone. And also, this session is being recorded. So people always ask, will the session be recorded? Yes, it is recorded. And the recording will be distributed, I guess, by the end of tomorrow. So watch out for that in your inboxes. And yeah, without further ado, Martin, let's get started.
Okay, so let's dive in. The standard question, do you see my slides? So hopefully yes. You see my presentation now, I can see. So let's jump in and go to agenda right there. This is what we'll be discussing today. So as we discussed in the early minutes, it's related to flows, but it's not presentation heavy webinar, right? Honestly, there's just a couple of slides, but this is a big launch for us. We never had such overarching product, and it's actually not a product, it's like a platform. So we want to give you a little bit of background, why we even launching it and why we have it, right? So why we decided to create such a thing, why we think it's useful, and why we think you like it. So that's very simple goals of today's session. And of course, because of that, we're launching it in early access right now, so you can even try it right after the webinar. So stay tuned, and at the end there'll be also a Q&A session as Dan mentioned. So let's dive into the first point of our agenda. So why we even creating flows? So to start a little bit broadly, when you think about product fruits, very often you think about onboarding, digital adoption, and similar examples. But in reality, product fruits is basically communication layer between your product and your users, right? We're just right in between, which is a lot of responsibility on our shoulders, of course, but also it changes a little bit how you can think about us. We are not just onboarding and digital adoption, we are communication layer, right? And in order to handle proper communication and all of those use cases related to it and make it useful for your users and for you, the one important key factor is that this platform needs to be flexible enough to reflect each individual user, right? And that's one of the big ideas, is that over the past and our products which we have right now, for example, Tours, of course, they are great, right? But this is one step next to each other, and they might not fully reflect the individual needs for exactly individual users. Very often we're just helping ourselves with creating like groups of users, right? You have buckets of users, you have AEs, you have product managers, etc. But even in that bucket, each individual is different, right? Not every person comes to your platform and says, yeah, I'm product manager, therefore I have the same needs as other thousands product managers, right? It's not how it works. So we feel that we had a gap there, and we need to close it and come up with some solution which reflects much more this natural human nature and possibility to adjust exactly to the needs of individual users to maximize the value for you. So that's exactly what the slide suggests, is like, who is the user, what's their motivations, what they're doing in your product. And very often simple tracking actions is not enough because it doesn't tell you the motivation. So that's basically one of the big things and big gaps which we feel we had, and therefore we need to create something which has helped to close it. Another thing is, which I slightly touch within a minute, is the tours are quite linear, they're quite static. It's one card next to each other. You can still do some conditions in them, etc. So the guidance feels a little bit more, let's say, sluggish, or it's not so flexible. So we want to make sure that we introduce a product again who reflects this possibility to branch and change the logic and the path for the user based on the newly emerging information, or how the user feels, what their problems are in the moment, right? And also we want to make sure that we reflect your goal. Because to be honest, I don't believe that you come to the product fruits and say, yeah, I'm here to create 5 cards next to each other. You are there to solve your problem. Either it's onboarding, adoption, learning of your users, or some automation. You come to solve the business problem. So that's the reason we want to create also some product who is more business oriented, right? So we try to help you to achieve your goal rather than just create some cards, right? Our products are still useful in that sense, but we want to push it to the next level. Okay, we want to say, okay, you have those goals, let's achieve them and help to adjust the user path towards it. So that's another big idea why we're introducing the flows.
So Martin, let's pause here. Can you go a slide back?
Yes, let's do it.
So let's look at it from a practical perspective. You are a product manager yourself, right? You're doing a lot of in-app comms, obviously. So just give us some examples. Where would you use the linear product tour? And where would you think, okay, so I need to use something a bit more advanced because of the use case?
Yeah, the important thing, I think there are 2 angles. One is how complicated your product is, right? If your product is not so complicated, or the process like sign up, you have simple sign up process, no crazy stuff in it, maybe a couple of card tour or some elements like that would help. But I think 90% of our clients, and actually even us product fruits, the product is not so simple, is it? So when the products get a little bit complicated and the user path goes much more complicated, I would start to think about, okay, in this point, the user needs might diverge. And also at this point, I don't know what the user actually wants. I need to figure it out and adapt. So I would say it depends on the complexity of the process, complexity of the product, and also maturity of the maturity of the users. That's, I would say, also important right there.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's true as well. Is that what I forgot to mention is that we wanted to also create a product which you kind of touched, is that it can get complicated if you need to, but it stays out of the way if you just don't, right? So that's very important as well. We don't want to just create a product for developers, right? We want to make sure that the product is usable also, for pretty straightforward use cases. So that's a good point. That's what I mentioned. It doesn't mean that straight and linear is always bad. We want to give you that flexibility. Okay, so to move forward on the next slide is application automation. This is a big reason why we basically wanted to introduce and needed to introduce something new. It's because it's not just about onboarding, it's not about adoption. And as I mentioned, we want to help you to achieve your business goals, but they're not just driven by communication, they're also driven by certain automation and data enrichment. So we want to make sure that this product allows you to combine user experience with some action. So the system and the product suites actually do something for you, for the users, and help you also downstream, right? Because we have a lot of large clients, and reality of the world is everybody of those clients, and even us, is using a lot of systems, using CRMs, using ticketing systems. There's tens of softwares which you need to use, and therefore properly useful product needs to have integrations and have to be able to communicate and be part of that stack of yours. So that's one of the big also driving forces for us to create something completely new, because we want to put, I'm using flows like a product, but it's again actually a platform which puts our product into one place when you can combine them, and also with your systems. So this is also the one of the big ideas, is that it's not just, it's system of action as well, including the AI, non-AI nodes, non-AI actions. So it combines everything together to help you to achieve your goal. So yeah, so that's basically the couple of my slides. Feel free to ask questions in the chat, because I think the next one, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, that's the summary of what we discussed. That's the last one before the demos. And this is, in a simple words, what kind of flows can do for you. And I believe that from this slide is the best visible, is that Flow is really not a product, it's a platform where all of our products nicely fit together, and also including your own systems and applications or custom-made apps, that's fine. So it can help you to personalize the path, it can help you to react on the content, it can help you to branch and connect. So again, it doesn't have to get complex, can if you need to, and we will help you with that. So I think that's it for my slides, but the meat of this webinar, I would say, is the demo, when we'll just show you how it looks like, and show it to you in a couple of very specific examples, so we want to open your mind a little bit how to think about it. So the purpose of those demos is not go to extreme detail, it's about what use cases you can usually do, which you could not before. So that's the idea. So now it's a demo time. So take a look if it will work. I think it should. Yeah, so I see that you see the recording here, my screen here. And I have pre-recorded here from a few days ago a couple of demos which should be close to the reality of, I think, your problems which you're facing every day. Let's start with the first one. It's I would say from the simplest one, so let's take it from those kind of simplest one to a little more advanced, right? This one is the setup of this demo. So let's have a leaflet CRM system. That's our demo system. I'll show you those demos on top of. And in that system, we want to have one welcome card to say users, hi, we are leaflet CRM, welcome. And then we want to adjust the path further based on the user role. So if the user is SDR, we'll want to take the user to a different path than if the user is AE. This was not simply possible to do in our platform before. You can still have multiple tours, but it was a little bit clumsy. Now I'll show it to you how to do it in the flows. So let's dive in there. So first, before we started, this is just introduction of the leaflet CRM. So this is the leaflet CRM. And then you have their leads section. This is the section we want to introduce to our SDRs. But for our AEs, we want to show them opportunities right there. So we want to branch it like that, and how to create new opportunity. So how you'll do it in flows. You'll just go to the guide section, to the flows, and you can start creating the flow either from scratch or record with Alvin. Let's take it from scratch. And what we'll do here we'll just rename the flow. That's always a good start. And then we will add the first card, which is the same for everybody. Let's prepare it. That's the welcome card. Then we will add the condition, because then we want to branch it. And then for the SDR, we want to have a different path. And then for the AE, we want to have a different path. So this is just preparation of the flow. As you can see, you can nicely visually see that flow. And now you can just rename it. So simple enough, just to not get lost in it. So I have a welcome card there. Then I have SDR and AE cards there. So that's the initial setup, how you can cover this case. As of part of this initial demo, I want to also show you how we revamped the editor of the card, because I know there was a lot of feedback of how to improve the editation of the card, so you don't have to be developer or CSS master to make it look nice. So that was also one of our goals, is that, as you will see here, you can very simply create a really nice card. Okay, you can just drag and drop. You can configure basically anything which you can think of. So there's also our new editor, which you know from a new article editor. There's also Alvin Everywhere if you want to help with writing and grammar correction or get maybe more ideas. You can also generate images with AI. But generally, main reason for all of this is to make sure that absolutely everybody can create beautiful card, right? I'm also not product designer. I'm also not UX UI master. So that's also helpful for me to actually create something which looks nice and I don't have to spend hours on that. So that was the main idea. And also for what you see in front of you, it's done in our product Fruis administration. So it doesn't have to have an extension for that. So let's go ahead. As you can see, there is a lot of settings which you can do. You can set up the actions, you can set up branching, etc. And this is, I just do the video magic, and this is what I've end up with as a welcome card for a use case. So just nicely formatted, and then let's move on. And let's, for example, start with the SDR card. I want to target it to the leads menu item. How I do it, I just click on one button and it's basically done. I'll just select the leads element, say this card should be attached here, and it's done. And right now I'll just adjust the visuals of that card. I'll just skip it a little bit so we don't have to see my clicking again. And I can preview it, and right now you can see that the card is nicely positioned. I can still adjust on top of my application the visuals and polish it to make sure it looks really nice and fits my branding. And that's basically how you'll do it. Then we will also do the same for the rest of the cards, but I'll skip it and show you what I've end up with. So it's basically flow for each SDR and account executive, 3 cards, just for this purpose of this demo. And I can of course preview it. So if you preview it, we will see the welcome card. That's for everybody. And then I hit the start and I will decide if I want to go as a SDR or account executive. And let's go through it. So that's how you'd expect. And basically we are going through the SDR path right now. And once we are done, we can take a look also on the account executive path. So we would just go the same way, start the walkthrough, and then you say, okay, I want to see it as the account executive, and then you get guided through opportunities. So that's how you can do it, pretty simple. Also, Elvin can generate the whole cards for you. But I want to show you also one kind of nice improvement we did. If you're creating a lot of cards, same for tours, it can be clumsy, it can be a little bit time-consuming to recreating all the cards, right? So that's what we come up with the new concept here, which is called templates. And basically you create a card. For example, this is the card for the next steps. And I want to save it and reuse it later. So I'll just hit the templates and then I'll just hit save a template, name the template, and then I'll basically can reuse it later on. So right now I have the same save template here, and I can right now add it as a new step, just writing but the name of the template, next steps, hitting the enter or clicking on it, and I have it there right now. So there is a lot of those improvements. I'll not show everything during this webinar. There'll be much more to come. But this is, I believe, the main thing I wanted to show you in this first demo is that branching, which is very simple, very natural, new way how we can quickly do some kind of advanced branching, because the condition which you put there can be much more complicated, not just the role based.
So Martin, I have a question, if I may.
Yeah, let's go for it.
So I like your example.
Yes.
I have two personas,
Yes.
AE and SDR, in my CRM application.
Okay.
So how does the system know which user is currently engaging with it?
Yeah, so actually there are multiple ways how to achieve that. So first, as you're sending us your users, you can actually set it up in your system to send out the user, if you have it in HubSpot or somewhere, this user is actually SDR. That's what you're already doing. So if you're basically using product fruits, installing the JavaScript and everything, you can sending it to us, those properties, as we call them, on the user. The other way is actually that you can add this property directly in our application based, for example, on condition met. So if certain condition is met, we can actually label that user for you in the flows. So actually in the flows, there is a special function when user can be labeled and we can add user property for you. So we can actually label that user for you and then you can use it later on in our system for the future flows and actually conditioning. So we can do it for you as well.
Nice. So I have another question.
Yes, okay. Another one.
So new cards, what you showed, I mean, they look so much better than the current version of the editor, which I may finally start calling legacy editor.
Yeah,
so like most people on this call, they probably have, you know, existing cards done in the legacy editor. And if they wanted to kind of switch up to the new experience, which is so much better in terms of the visuals, what is the most efficient way for them to achieve that?
So if you want to migrate currently existing tours which you have, I would say the best way is that there is a migration feature. So you can start a new flow, click on a button, and it will actually migrate existing cards from the tour. It doesn't have to be 100% correct because it's so new, so the system and backend are completely, you know, different. So it's still good practice to check it, right? So to migrate it and just check the cards, but you don't have to copy paste the text, the visuals, the headings. So a lot of it is already like moved there. So I think that's the best, you know, best practice. Another one, you can either migrate those which you're actively using, and also if you're creating new tours and experiences, I would recommend start just with flows since the scratch. If you have really hundreds of tours right now, you can migrate them one by one like that, or just the new ones or the ones which you're using quite a lot or are, you know, most important for you.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's continue.
Okay. So let's go ahead. So another demo. So this is the second demo out of 3, I would say. It's a little bit more advanced. Okay, because as I mentioned at the beginning, what is very important is that onboarding on communication platform as a product for it adapts to the user, but in order to adapt to the user, you need to learn about user, right? So this is exactly what I want to show you here in this demo. We want to have examples when you have a user. First, we will learn about that user, and based on that learning, we will adjust the next steps for that user, all within one flow. Okay, so you don't have to use any other tools. You just basically use the combination of our tools to achieve that. So first learn about the user, and based on that, branch and choose the right path for that user, all with using power of our AI, Elvin. Okay, so let's dive in to this example. This one is pretty cool. So how we achieve that, we will create a flow when we will set up discovery. That's a new kind of product which we launched a couple of weeks ago. It's like advanced surveys, but actually much more advanced, powered by Elvin. Then we will choose a special flow function called AI Classify, which will process the outputs of that survey/discovery. And based on the understanding of the outputs, it will choose the right path forward for that given individual user, okay? It's not for the group of the users, it's for each individual user evaluated separately, okay? So how we will do it in flows, as you will see, nothing crazy complicated. So first, I'll just add a node called trigger discovery. Then in that node, I'll select all the existing discovery. I'll not show you how to create discovery, but it's again Elvin powered. So just like discussion with colleagues, that's it. Couple of, like I would say 5 minutes, you can do it. Then you will just select it here, and now it's done. So basically that means that the user will, first we will trigger discovery for that given user. And then what we will do is a magic, which is called AI Classifier. And this is basically AI node who is processing the outputs of the discovery, the learnings from it for each user, and deciding where to put the user to which path. So let's go inside that and do the configuration. So on the left side, we will just choose, hey, we want to process the outputs from discovery. We don't have any other there right now. And then we will just choose the branches. Let's put there 2. And we say, okay, I'll put there right there this thing. So nothing, no complex configuration, no programming, no JSONs. I'll just put a normal language that first branch, there should be users who are interested in our product, mainly for the SDR support and workflows. And then a second branch is for the users who actually feel challenges around integrations, like a human language, nothing crazy, no coding. And then what basically Alvin and this AI node will do is based on the answers of the user from that discovery first, he will basically send the users the right way based on how they discuss it. I think that this is very powerful. This is the really kind of features which make me feel really proud for the team what we delivered, because putting all of this together required quite a lot of new products, inventions, and platform migrations. So this is pretty nice. And then also, as you can see at the bottom, there is a fallback node. What does it mean is that if the AI is not sure enough where user should fit, it will sell him to this one, even if there's any errors, etc. So let's move forward right there. So we have that, and let's magically add here 2 more cards. So first card will explain the SDR, and the second card will just explain integration, as we have it in the branches. But we can also put there a fallback, as I mentioned, and let's put there Alvin. And this is another magic, another cool feature here in Flows, which basically says if the user doesn't match to any of those profiles, just open Alvin for them automatically, and Alvin should offer them a help. So users doesn't have to type any questions. Alvin start to speak immediately. Okay, and it doesn't have to be just well. As you can see, I'm writing here instructions for Alvin what he should do. So you can actually instruct Alvin here, hey, explain this user billing, right? And Alvin start explaining. So it's a very powerful feature, and again, as you can see, it fits nicely together, and this is what we end up with. Quite simple flow there. And I want to show you how it looks like from end user perspective. So imagine I'm the SDR or person interested in SDR in the platform, in this CRM leaflet demo system. Now, when I come to the platform, Alvin will automatically open up and start to just, you can envision that this is right after sign up, and starts to ask me why I'm here, right? This is like discovery discussions with the user. And the user reply here, okay, I'm here because I'm interested in SDR department. Let's play it nice so you get my point. But it can be much more complex discussion. It can have 3 or 4 turnarounds. I'll just skip it here and make it short a little bit. And then Alvin would ask 3 more questions, but let's skip it here. And then say, yeah, thank you for your answers. And as you can see, immediately this AI classifier choose the right path for that person, which is the SDR, and starts to explaining leads, right? So before I move forward, I just want to pause here, is that this is what I mentioned at the beginning when I mentioned ultimate flexibility and that every user is different, okay? Because this discovery which you just saw is fully adapted to each user. It uses its context, it adapts on a previous question, it asks the user, so it can go many ways. But using AI this way, it helps you to much better and naturally steer the flow, not just for onboarding, but you can use it for basically any use case. As I mentioned, we're kind of communication and automation platform, so it doesn't have to be just for onboarding, right? The flexibility here is almost endless. Right. What I want to show, yes.
So Martin,
yes,
stop here. It's very heavy. It's a lot of information.
Yeah.
Super interesting. But we're also having a lot of questions coming through.
Okay,
so
let's
I
do it.
think, I invited the questions
That's true.
to
That's
come
true.
through. So thanks everyone for typing in. And I think we should honor our promise in trying to answer the most interesting of them. So let's start from the back. Do you suggest the discovery from the start or later on during the onboarding? What's the best practice?
I would say that at the beginning, and the reason why I'm saying that is because at the beginning, when your user's signing up, they're already kind of ready in this flow when they're filling out the stuff, right? So if you're creating an account somewhere, you fill in some information, and of course it cannot be long that much, but you still, in a kind of let's say, flow, yes, that's onboarding. I need to fill in something. I'm okay with that. So my suggestion would be almost immediately after sign up, because the user is kind of in that flow, you know, I want to sign up, I want to do it. Nothing crazy. Discovery, again, as I mentioned, has a maximum of 3 to 4 questions. Yeah, so it's hard coded there. So you cannot have discovery going 20 questions. Yeah, so it's still quite short. But the benefit which you get from that is quite nice. And just to mention, the discovery which you saw right now, it's not just for the purpose of the flow, it's individual product also. So later on, you can also generate report from that particular discovery separately. So it's not just for the purpose of this flow, you learn from it much more even later. So you can use and, let's say, mine the information from the discovery later on for completely different purposes. Okay, so it's not one-off, it's just a well of interesting information. So I'd say right after the sign up.
Makes sense. Okay, someone else was asking whether there's a possibility to adjust slide delays.
Yes, definitely, and I have a demo for it. So I'm not sure if I should spoil it now. No, I will not spoil it. You will see it there.
So that one will be
but you can
shown
do
live.
It. You can do it.
I was referring to the current editor, the Tours editor, as the legacy editor,
yes.
And someone picked up on that. And the question is, will the flows replace Tours entirely?
Yeah, so in matter of functionality, yes, they'll basically substitute. In matter of course, business continuity, no, right? We understand that a lot of you have a lot of tours which you created over time and you polish them to perfection, including the CSS and all of this around. So it doesn't mean that by today we just, dropping off tours. So they'll be there for a long time. So don't worry, take your time. I think that bringing the flows to your users, I think it simplifies a lot of things for you in the future, also make it nicer, more effective. But again, like if you have a lot of it, take your time, discover flows, start one by one. Don't worry, we will not say your tours are gone, right? That's not happening. I know that's our most important product, which we're elevating by the flows and building on top of that and creating something new. So don't worry, it's there. It will be there for a long time.
Couple of more questions. Okay, is it possible to bring the sign-up information to the CRM? So I guess I saw that somewhere.
Yeah, it is. Again, it's in the demo in the third
So maybe, let's jump into it.
Yeah, we can jump into it. That's true. And we can take more of those questions in that demo because I think it will... I see that it starts opening your mind, and that's great because you start to think about it as we thought about it. That's good. That's a good sign. The one thing to end up with the second demo is that discovery is great and gives you a lot of information right there. But we bring much more features to the flows. For example, this is demonstration that you can insert input field to the card. So if you want to just ask user for something, it doesn't have to go through the discovery, for example, in a different point of time, not during onboarding. It basically just, you can just put their input field and process it with the AI the same way, okay? So it's the same principle and you can do much more with it. I'll show you in a minute. But I just wanted to show you that you can do much more with it. The one thing before we move to the last demo is that I'll show you how it looks like when there is a fallback. So meaning when the Elvin will pop up, okay? So for that, the Elvin will just maximize, but as you can see, Elvin starts to think and actually do something. It produces the answer right there. As you remember, we have there the fallback option. That's it. So if I would not fit to anywhere, the Elvin just pop up and start right. Again, this is kind of general, I'm Elvin, I can help you. But imagine that you can have this for each branch. So if user struggles in integrations, Elvin pop up and starts to explain integrations, right? So it starts to be more proactive, and most importantly, it helps you to onboard your users also to AI. So they're not scared to ask questions. Also, they not struggle what I should ask, right? Did I ask right question, wrong questions? This already provide them something they can start with. So that was also our idea, to simplify onboarding of your users to the Elvin and show them that, hey, AI is way past beyond the chatbots. It's much more useful now. So that was the last one for this demo. And we can move to the last demo, which I think it answers a lot of those questions which you're asking, and we can discuss it even more. That's this ask, act, check, continue, which I summarized the slide with. And that's exactly what users asking here and participants here is that I mentioned at the beginning, we don't want to have flows just as a replacement or feature iteration of Tours. We want to bring it to the next level. What does it mean? It's system of action as well. It can do something for you. And actually you can have almost entire flow without showing user any card. Okay? It can transform some information and pass them further, enrich them and pass them further, right? And that's what I want to demonstrate for you here. There's a lot of will happen on the screen, but I'll pause to explain. But it's still, I think, pretty straightforward mentally. So let's start with this example, okay? Let's start with the clean flow again. And let's imagine that we want to have one card for absolutely every user again. It's a welcome card. It's always good best practice, let's say, to show first welcome card. But then we want to do something different. Then we want to load data from HubSpot, and based on the data, we want to move forward and branch our onboarding experience or experience for that user. So what we will do, we will add here API, basically node as we call it, HubSpot properties. So basically from HubSpot, we will load the properties or one property, and then we will add the classifier again, or you can add condition instead of classifier. That's fine. You can combine those nodes as you wish, as to fit your needs. And then based on that condition, we want to branch further. So imagine that we have this welcome card, and then for the clients which in the HubSpot have a mark, let's say enterprise client, we want to explain them first integrations, because this is our aha moment, for example, in the CRM system. So for that, we loaded the prop, we put there the condition. To the condition, we put it if it's enterprise client, yes or no. And then we will show them, we onboard them to the integrations. Again, for the purpose of this webinar, I make it simple, so just one card, but you can envision you can do that much more. And so we just explain them integration, but then that's what somebody asked. We will wait 2 days right there before we will do something else. So basically we can say after the integrations, we show them this and onboard them there and explain them the integration, wait 2 days. And once you wait 2 days, and this is the cool part, put their additional condition and actually check if they created integration. So what we're saying here is that we wait 2 days, check if they actually created the integration, yes or no, and based on that, we will choose the right path again. So if they create the integrations, we can actually update the property for them. That's the first node, the create integration, that's this one. So we update the property on that user. So we actually know that this user created integration. And we can use it in different flows, not just this one. We can use it across the platform, actually. You can use it across the product fruit, okay? So we actually enrich the information about the user and say, hey, this user is interesting because he already created integration, ringing a bell a little bit. And as you can see, you can also push information to the HubSpot back. So not just read, but you can also push their information. So now we can also push to the HubSpot, for example, hey, this user already created integration, move it in a funnel or just ring a bell somewhere. So your sales team can engage because it seems that this contact or lead getting a little bit more warmer, right? But as you can see, you can do more. You can even send email. So there's much more to this automation. And this email can be either to that client or to your sales team. It doesn't have to be email, actually. There is even Slack notification, right? So you can all do that. And then you can have there also a fallback with Alvin. That's this node which we have added here. Is that right now, if the client is still large but didn't create any integration within 2 days, Alvin will pop up and will offer help and maybe educate the user about integration or anything else. So this is basically the end of the third demo, where I just wanted to open your mind how you can think about it. It's no longer tours and cards next to each other. It's really like flow. That's why we name it that way. So there's much more which you can do about it. I believe that in this time, maybe in your minds, popping a lot of your use cases and how to combine it, given your flows, your onboarding, your clients. So yeah, that's basically what you can do. Again, this is not all functionality, of course, right? There's much more. There's also more possibility to adjust the visuals. There are more nodes. There's even AI transformation node. So don't take that this is everything. There is much more to it, and that's why we enabled early access for you. And you can test it, you can play with it, and tell us what you think about it. Do you have any?
Yeah, we have questions, but before we get to them, I think we have some other announcements to make. Can you just advance the presentation?
Let's go to the presentation there.
Yeah, okay, cool. So I just wanted to mention this. I mean, flows are powerful, I guess, as people are starting to realize, but they can also be quite overwhelming, right? As everything, which is so great. So we want to give everyone the opportunity to make the most out of it and really support people to get value from the product. And we are opening our calendars to a series of training sessions. They'll be taking place each Thursday for the next couple of weeks at exactly the same hour, like we're talking now. They will be led by Adam, our implementation engineer. Some of you may know, and we will each of the sessions will kind of dive into a specific area of the flow functionality. So mark those dates, and also bring your UX person, bring your growth person, bring your, I don't know, there is a lot of people who need to communicate with users in all sorts of capacity. So bring those people in. Also, if you have a specific use case in mind, just shoot us an email, use the live chat, send us the use case, and we'll prepare for that, and we'll show it live, how it's built on one of these sessions. So I guess next slide.
I just want to say that that's true. It's like the flows, as I mentioned at the beginning, they can get simple or more complicated as you need, but they're new. So that's the reason why we're offering this help. And definitely bring your use cases, because I'm really looking forward to get surprised what you can think of to doing with them already by developing them and working with Ely, adopters from our clients. And I'm thank you to those clients for helping us to shape it even further. There was really interesting use cases coming up. So I think we'll be surprised what can happen and what you can create with it. So bring those cases so we can work together to advance it and support it even more in the flows.
Yeah, so here is how to register for those sessions. The first QR code is for the training sessions. Again, these are going to be group sessions, but not much of a demo. It will be more like a workshop. So really two-way session. And also, I mean, if someone is, I don't know, some compliance reasons or whatever, doesn't want to share their thing with some other people, then feel free to book a one-on-one session with Adam directly and have that sort of direct one-on-one experience. So let's go back to the questions. A lot of people asking about MCP connectivity. And I guess connectivity in general, so if you can elaborate on that.
Yeah, so definitely, as you saw in the flows, the integrations are absolutely key part of it. I think general added value of the flows is the interconnectivity. So it will definitely be coming. At this very moment, it's not there. We have there the API node, but later on there will be also native connections to the largest systems, so you don't have to go through the API way. And MCP will be there, definitely, not just in the flows, but generally in a product for its platform. So you will be able to use it across our platform to connect your own agentic systems to it. So it's coming in upcoming weeks, definitely. And there'll be also more AI nodes and everything. So yeah, stay tuned. It's coming, and that's exactly where we're heading to interconnectivity, integrations to more knowledge systems. So not just our knowledge base, but also external systems like Confluence, etc. So this is our new platform, which bring everything together. So definitely top of our list.
Another question. And this is a good one. Someone was asking about localization. So I guess this is a quite typical use case for most of the companies, like even ourselves, We've got our main bases in English, but we kind of all over the place. And So let's say I'm you, I'm product manager,
Yeah.
and I have my beautiful, very complex, fine-tuned flow made in English. And now, I have like people from Germany, people from France, people from, I don't know, Brazil. We have a huge base. So what is the most efficient way for me to localize them?
Yeah, so since the Tours, the latest iteration, we added their automatic AI translation. So it's in the flows, of course, as well. So you can automatically translate whole flow. So even if you have fairly complex flow, all the cards, you can just click twice a button and it translates to another language. So it's there. And the versions, English language versions are there automatically translated. What you can also do, you can actually translate just certain parts of the flow as well. So if you want to translate just one card of the flow to different languages and play with that first, you can do it. So there's this flexibility of translating whole flow or just one card or one element. So yeah, it's possible. We thought about a multi-language. As you mentioned, we have clients from all over the world. So we have it there. It has to be there, right there.
So, someone is asking, they already have their own sort of LLM in place and their own chatbot in place. And I guess the question is, how can all this be integrated with Product Fruit? So from an end user perspective, there is not like different chats and different AIs kind of popping over each other, making it a mess.
So I think there are different use cases. So one, what we're also adding, those AI nodes which you saw there, you actually can choose your own provider of model for that. So this is the first product when you can actually choose, okay, this transformation is done through our platform or your provider, and just select the individual models even. In matter of the chatbot and connecting to the assistant, one use case is that actually, as I showed you in the last example, the flows even doesn't have to be there. They can be there even for different use cases. The flows can appear for the user, but they can also disappear if it's just an enrichment and automation. And they can feed the data through the API right now to the, for example, rack system or your internal system, which can then be read by your agent to process it. Or, as I mentioned, as we were working on adding MCP server, your agent can then trigger that, use that MCP server for multiple applications in a platform to read the knowledge base, to communicate with Alvin, and also to trigger flows and communicate with flows, right? So, simple enough, your agent can ask our agent and the flows to trigger the right flow and the right time. So it's coming right there, and we thought about it. Of course, you don't want to have the five chatbots or assistants in your platform. So we can be there if you need it, and we can disappear if you don't. So that's the idea, and still get a benefit of Product Fruits as a kind of this communication platform and behavioral platform between the user and your own systems.
Another question concerns pricing.
Yeah.
These functionalities, I guess, it's being referred to the flows in general, are available in the Pro plan or in the starter plan?
So the flows itself are available for every new plan. So starter, Pro, business, everybody has the access to them. Actually, again, since today in the early access. But it differs which nodes are available in which plan. So simply enough, in a starter, they're more like similar to Tours. You just get much more smarter targeting of elements, much nicer cards, editing, etc. So all of that, what you saw in the first demo, you basically have there. In the Pro, you have all of those advanced nodes there. And in the business plan, you will have there those more AI powerful transformation features and everything, simply because of those triggering for absolutely every user, it's quite heavy, and of course for our infrastructure, so we cannot provide it to everybody since day one, even if we would like to. So this is how we want to kind of put it there and set it up right now. But everybody have access right now, so just try it. Let us know what you think, play with it, and I think it for even the starter plans, it's game changer. So.
All right, I'm just scrolling through the chat, trying to see what was not answered.
Feel free still to ask questions, guys.
Yeah, so there's a good one, and probably we should have mentioned that. Someone is asking about tutorials. Whether we have tutorials on flows, on all the use cases, and and we can hook up different things together. And I just encourage everyone to go to chat, and maybe Amy or whoever posted there the link to the help section, which features the flow tutorials. Can you just repost it so it's on top for everyone, and people can click through and.
Yeah, definitely. What I want to just mention to that is that there are definitely tutorials, right? And in the Help Center, there are articles for the flows. And also you can ask Elvin, you can ask our support. But the reason why we also shared with you the links to the add-on, maybe if we can still put it there on the screen. That's also the reason why we did it, is that even again, if the flows doesn't have to get complicated if you don't need to, they're still a new product, right? So we still believe that the right way for you, just before you start, you can play with that, of course, start with that, but go to those webinars, okay? Go to the book the session with Adam, take a look on the webinars, we'll have recordings. And also you will see in upcoming days appearing in the UI, the videos. Okay, so when you go to the flow section over the next week or so, they'll start popping up the learning videos. On top there will be a banner, and when you click on it, there'll be 3-4 videos covering specific use cases. Because again, that's I think the good way to convey this and to get you started the quickest is this. So that's the reason why we're doing this. So please go to those webinars, check the book, the demos, because every use case is also specific. So we will have them there. There is of course materials, etc. But I think again, personalized education through explicitly your use case. I know that some of our applications are really complicated, so we can handle it better this way. So don't worry to use that link and choose the right slot.
This is a fun question. Someone is curious. So why did you choose the name Elvin?
I think it was a lengthy process, to be honest. It was a combination of, we had to right name, AI relatable, human-like, so it
short. The domain must have been available.
We had we had hundreds of candidates, right? Everybody in the company was like, yeah, this should be this name. We have very odd ones. And so it was a long journey, to be honest. But I think it feels right. I hope you like it. But it was a journey. But yeah, finally we just collaborated now, and hopefully you like the name.
Okay, a couple of more questions. Our application has a side drawer that can be shown or hidden. How will flows behave if content is not visible when hidden?
Yeah, we have some smart magic on that. So when you put the card there, there's a lot of settings which are hidden to you, and automation handles most of those cases. So simply enough, we're trying to detect if the element is visible on the side to user yes or no. And if not, we'll just not show it. And once it appears, we will show it there. So it waits until the element is there. We detect it on the screen. Once it's detected, it will show. So it's handled there. If it would not work for some cases, it's possible to manually put their delays, etc. Also, in next 2 to 3 weeks, we will be launching new selectors for more advanced users, when basically the AI will detect also the concept, the structure of the page, and the text much better and much precisely where the elements are. So stay tuned there. But this should be handled by default in most of the cases when we're detecting if it appears visually or not in the system.
All right, I guess we are nearing the top of the hour. With that, it was a pleasure to speaking to everyone. Look out for the recording. It's coming out tomorrow. And as always, Adam's calendar is out there. Our chat is out there. Elvin is out there.
Just go there and try it. So I think that's the best way to start it. Just take some of your real use cases and start to play with it to get the sense of it, and then book the demos, ask the questions, and we're looking forward to see what you can do with the flows.
Cool.
Okay, so bye and have a nice day, guys.